We want to bring in NBC's royal contributor, Camilla Tominey. She's been covering the royal family for many years. Camilla, good morning to you. I guess this is an example of someone going nuclear on the royal family. I mean, in terms of bombshells, there was one after the other. How do you think this will land over there?
Well, they were talking about the royals hiding behind the sofa before this interview. I think at the moment they're probably in a bunker taking cover. I mean, there were a number of grenades thrown. I think most notably, of course, this suggestion that the institution of monarchy and indeed some members of the royal family, one member of the royal family we don't know, has made this racist remark about Archie's skin tone. Difficult to pin that down right now because both Meghan and Harry were questioned, wouldn't give a name, and we're still waiting actually for a palace reaction to that and all of the claims that have been made in this highly incendiary interview that, as you can imagine, is dominating the headlines both over here and in the US right now.
Let's talk about some of those incendiary claims. One of them was that Meghan Markle felt suicidal. She expressed that to Harry, that they went to, I guess, the royal family and said, hey, she needs help. And basically the royal family said, no, that's not going to look good optically. We're going to say no to that. Will you just kind of shed some light on what that is about?
Well, Hoda, it's quite hard to because we don't know exactly who they consulted. I think HR, human resources, were involved. We don't know what family members they spoke to and who exactly didn't express this sympathy. It was quite vague in the sense of talking about the institution and the firm. What's surprising, of course, is that we know that Prince Harry himself has talked about his own mental health, has sought treatment. We know that other members of the royal family, including, I think, Prince Charles in the past, have admitted to having seen a counsellor. So why couldn't they get the help? Why couldn't they connect to the help they needed? Why weren't they supported? Obviously, this probably needs to be the subject for an inquiry, right? There's already an investigation ongoing into these bullying allegations. I think similarly serious allegations have been made now that Buckingham Palace must investigate.
What do you think happens to this family relationship now? I thought it was so interesting that Harry said, you know, there was a time when his father wasn't taking his calls, but now that they had repaired it, at least that they are on speaking terms, that his brother, you know, that there was some tension there, but that they were, you know, they were brothers till the end, of course. But how do you drop bombs like this and then think, I'll see you at Christmas time? I mean, where does the family go from here?
Well, you can't, I don't think. I mean, how on earth is this going to repair relations between any of them? Let's not forget as well, the Queen is 94 and her 99-year-old husband is currently in hospital. And he's been in hospital for nearly 3 weeks now. So it's not an easy time for the Windsors. Clearly, it hasn't been an easy time for the Sussexes. But this kind of he said, she said, not being able to get quite to the truth. Obviously, a load of claims have been made now to Oprah Winfrey. It's now for the palace to try and issue some sort of statement. But of course, they don't want a run-in narrative. They don't want this to go on and on and on. There's a sense that I think Harry and Meghan wanted to draw a line. But in lobbing that grenade behind them, you just feel that they've left devastation in their wake that's only going to create even more of a narrative around their move to America.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would figure by now you, especially because you're such a royal watcher, would have some insight on what the palace is going to be saying. And we thought it was striking that they've been so silent. What do you expect them to say later today?
Well, they're regrouping this morning, and I think they're all trying to work out how to react to what has undoubtedly been much more of an explosive interview than they had planned for. But I would expect a statement to be released later. I don't think this is something you can just do in briefing to individual journalists. I would expect Buckingham Palace to say something a bit as we go on with the day, to be honest, because I don't think silence cuts it. And equally, I think there are a number of so serious allegations that they really need to be directly addressed on so-called Buckingham Palace notepaper, if that makes sense.
Yeah, incredibly serious allegations here. Camilla, I expect we'll be talking to you frequently in the days ahead. Thank you for your time this morning.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.